Hey, greetings everyone. This is Cody Cox out on my Friday stroll. Trinity National Holdings, of course, my company. It's a beautiful day here. It's kind of a warm day, overcast in Oregon. It's kind of about right to go on a long walk, which today I kind of took a long one. But I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little tired because I was out a little bit late last night. I was able to give my note presentation to Northwest Real Estate Investors Association, NWREIA. There was about 80 to 100 people in the room last night, pretty well packed, and I think it was pretty well received. I can hardly believe that I talked for 90 minutes, actually 90 minutes. And again, I wasn't selling anything. I don't sell anything. It's more of just what's going on in my business, you know. And it was a lot of fun, had a fun. You know, I used to be the president of Northwest REIA, and so to come back and give a presentation to this group on the other side of the microphone was pretty fun and exciting for me. So I was glad to do that. But again, I was out late last night. I got home way past the time I usually go to bed. And then, you know, when you get home and you're still kind of jacked from it all, you just don't really get a chance to fall asleep until a little bit later on. But anyway, so it was fun. It was good. I'll do it again at some point in time, I'm sure, or any other place. Again, I don't have anything really to sell, but it's a fun business to be in, and I hope looking forward to being able to do that long term and full time at some point in time. But the other thing I was thinking about is having to do with risk. You know, risk is one of those things that everything we do in life is kind of a risk. I mean, me going and speaking in front of 100 people is a bit of a risk. I mean, what if I don't know everything about notes. I mean, as I've said before on these Friday strolls, is every day you learn something new in notes. And so what if somebody out there asks a question about business? I got a question asked by an attorney last night that I'm not sure I gave a good answer to. So that kind of was on my mind. But everything we do is risk. We've got to take those risks, and the best thing we can do is learn in advance to mitigate those risks. There's a lot of opportunities. Just doing this video with you guys right now, I take a risk about something I say, or maybe an incomplete idea that doesn't make a lot of sense. Plus I risk getting hit by a car when I cross the street. And everything in life is a risk. Just picking up the phone and calling somebody maybe you haven't talked to for a long time, that's a bit of a risk. You never know how that's going to go. Can't remember the last conversation you had with that person and how that goes. In fact, picking up the phone and talking to somebody that's kind of interesting is I have this house that we took back through foreclosure in Cleveland, Ohio. Nice old house. And the people who had owned the house had both passed away. And I'd had some guy, a friend of mine, a guy who is a police officer in the city of Cleveland, who's also does some rehabbing on the side. He's been kind of keeping an eye on it for me. So as I'm trying to liquidate that house, I asked him if he'd drive by and take a look at it, and two, if there was an interest in it from him, and maybe we could settle on a price. So he took a drive by and found out that the house was actually occupied. And so I ended up, so I sent a field rep out there to kind of do a door knock, and found out that the person that lives in that house is the eldest daughter of the folks that had passed away. And so I sent her a letter. Want to talk? So she picked up the phone. She took a risk and called me on Wednesday. And good for her, because we talked and told her my interest was not in exactly removing her from the house or evicting her, which I have the legal right to do. But she'd been in the house that her parents bought it since 1977. She's been in the house for a little over a year now. Moved in. Had some major medical things going on, and it said that every time they tried to move, something came up and they couldn't. So I said, well, what do you think about buying the house from me? I could offer her some terms, something she could live with, and they'd end up keeping that house that's been in their family since 1977 in their name. And so she says, yeah, we'll think about that. I'll talk to my husband and see what he thinks about it. And then just before she hung up, I asked her a question. I said, before you go, I'm going to ask you one question. And that question is, did this phone call go in the way that you thought it was going to go? And she said, It absolutely did not. She had some expectation that this was going to be a confrontational call, that I was going to, basically require her to move out and that sort of stuff. And that's not what I do. That's not what our company does. That's not our mission. But she took a risk. And in that situation, the risk paid off for her. And so I gave her till the 15th of June, which is a week from today, if I can do my math right. 16th, I guess it is, next Friday, to kind of come up and answer on what she wants to do. Her and her husband are going to kick it around. I think we can come up with some terms that are going to work for them. So that's what it's all about, is you guys will go through your weekend here. And I guess no matter what your profession is, what your job is, what your business is, the best thing we do is take risks, because I think when we take a risk is where we actually move forward. If we're standing still, we're actually going backwards. But to have progress, you've got to take a risk. And so that's what I would encourage you guys to do, is think about, what risk can I take today? Mitigated risk, if you will. What risk can I take today to move forward to where I need to be tomorrow and the next day high? And so do that. Think about it. Risk is not scary. Risk is moving forward. Risk is progress. And as we're trying to build a business, or we're trying to grow in our own job and, maybe get some promotions, you're going to have to take some risks. So I encourage you to do that. Weigh it carefully. Again, risk mitigation is what it's all about. But I think with that, you're going to find some success. Standing still, being stagnant, being static is not winning. It is not moving forward. It is not progress. It's actually going backwards. So with that, I just want to encourage you guys. This is going to be a great weekend. And then Monday morning early, speaking about rest, Monday morning early, I have to head off to Eastern Oregon. That'll be about, got to go to a place called the Grand Oregon. Went to school for a year there at the Eastern Oregon State University. It's been a while since I've been back, but I'm doing a presentation to a group of realtors there on Monday. Then after that, I think it takes about 6 hours. No, not 6 hours. 5 hours to drive there. I'm in a state car, so that might make it 6. And then when that's over, I've got to drive over to Baker City for an evening engagement. Then I got to get up early for a presentation to the advisory committee, and then another training on Tuesday in Baker City. Should get done with that between 3:30. So then I got to head on back. So Monday and Tuesday is going to be road trip days. But anyway, it's what I do. That's what the life of an investor is. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening today. It's been a great Friday stroll, and I hope your weekend goes wonderful for you. And I just want to remind you that together, our potential is infinite. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.